Hey everybody, this is attempt number 2 because Critter here muted my microphone. Joe is being kind of frustrating. I love him, but sometimes he can be weird about certain things like water. He has water, by the way, a nice cool bowl of ice water out there that you can drink from, but you would rather drink straight from the faucet. I don't. Anyway, you guys may have seen my most recent video where I talked about having an interview with Adecco, who is the staffing agency I use. Now, normally you'd want to be careful about mentioning certain entities by name on YouTube, but I'm about done with these people, so I'm just going to call them out as I see fit. I had just finished an assignment at the Aloe Yoga warehouse out in Fossil Creek. A couple of months ago, something like that. The assignment ended, and Fossil Creek was far enough to commute to. You guys can call me a pussy or a titty baby all you want, but a long commute can just eat away at you as far as like work goes. I'm not just making that up either. You can look up statistics on people who have left or who really want to leave their job over a long commute. Commute times are like, just nightmarish up here. It's definitely not a mile a minute. Some place could be 8 miles away and take half an hour to get there. So I had actually had the foreman, the Adecco foreman at Aloe, offering me kind of continually a position over at CDTI. And CDTI had like Amazon's out there as well, and there's a location called 156. They're all pretty close to each other. But the thing is, most of these places are out in Alliance, okay? And for those of you that know the DFW area, to get from West Arlington over to Alliance is like 45 minutes on a good day, okay? And this job was $16 an hour. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that's just getting out of the realm of really being able to do. Because, again, like that's going to eat away at your vehicle. That's wear and tear on your vehicle. I drive an older car, that's on me, I guess, but I try and be nice to it. But and that is also time that you're not getting paid for, usually. So I just kind of kept telling her that that's just really out of my, if I lived a little bit closer, then that would be one thing, right? I also had them send me a text for a material handler job out in Louisville, which is not unfar to get to. On a good day, that's probably around half an hour for me. And $13. For one thing, this is 2026. $13 an hour is getting to be like a wage that, like, if you want people to work for you, that's not the wage to pay. Especially since you can be working at a warehouse as a material handler. That there's a lot of heavy lifting and stuff like that. To make a long story shorter, I had found a job on Adecco. I'm applying for everything that seems in a reasonable distance. That was $15 to $16 an hour as a warehouse job. I was like, I'm not sure. Like, part of the problem with a lot of staffing agencies is they don't want to tell you where the place is because they figure you might just go over to the corporate website, their corporate website, apply directly, and kind of get out of the staffing agency loophole. A lot of places are only are only staffed through staffing agencies, though, so there's not always a loophole around it. But seldom do they tell you where it really is. But as soon as I applied for this job, I got this email from this thing called Adecco Connect, which was sort of new. That's never really happened before. And this allowed me to schedule an interview, right? This is like, okay, I assume that this is for the job I just applied for. But it's not even telling me what job this is for. So it was very vague. I looked everywhere in the email. I looked everywhere on the interview scheduling portal, and it didn't say a company, this is for this position with this company, or even for this job ad you applied for. I was like, well, okay. So I scheduled the interview, and I had to reschedule it once, but this was out on Sandshell Drive, which is in Fossil Creek. So any of you who know the DFW area know that is not an unshort distance to travel from West Arlington. Okay, that's you're looking at 27 minutes to 34 minutes, depending on traffic and stuff like that. Traffic on the way out there was pretty bad. It's not as bad as it has been. This was a very similar route to get to Aloe. In fact, I used the same traffic circle to get to this place, just a different exit. So I then get a confirmation, right? Like a reminder, like, hey, your interview's today, and it's for this company, okay? And it says it's with JP Morgan, which was my second assignment with Adecco, and I really liked that assignment. It was 6 hours overnight at $23 an hour. It was in Louisville, which was a bit of a drive, but at $23 an hour and a short shift, it's totally worth it. So I was like, oh yeah, and the Adecco staffer out at that location did say she wanted to hire me back. So I was like, all right, this is cool. I still don't know why I'm going to this new location. I thought maybe like they can do fingerprinting on site there and everything like that and not have to use a third party. So again, I thought things were a little bit strange, but I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and go out there. So I get out there yesterday, and I'm always nervous when I go out to these Adecco places, and there's literally no sign up. It's just an address number on a door, and there's like one person sitting in a cubicle in there. It's very kind of ghetto. It seems very ghetto, and I recognize this person as well. They've worked at the Irving office before. And it's been a long time since I've seen them, though. And I kind of was like, I'm here I'm apparently here to do an interview for this JP Morgan position. And she's like, no, all we do out here is CDTI. And I'm like, yeah, that's out in Alliance. And she's like, you mean like as far as the area go? I don't know. And it's like, okay, well, she's like, check these addresses. And I was like, look, and then the other thing was, my phone is on very low bandwidth. Once you use your high speed data allotment, you're on like 120K, and I couldn't. It's like she had to approve me to get on their Wi-Fi, and it's like she just never really did it. So it was taking me forever to look everything up. And I was like, yeah, just all of these addresses are going to be like, they're all out in Alliance. So it's going to take me 45 minutes to get there, and you're saying it might not even be $16 an hour. I can't do that. I told Micah I wasn't interested in that. You know, I think this is really part of the problem when you guys don't list the company we're applying for, because if I had known this was CDTI, I wouldn't have bothered with it. And on top of that, it says here in this email from you guys that it's for JP Morgan, okay? Which is why I came out here. I wanted to work out there again. So she gets on the horn with, or she gets on chat with the people in charge of that. They say I'm not actually eligible for rehire at JP Morgan. And I was like, well, that's not what I got told. I kept also trying to tell this woman that there was a Brittany on site, and she kept going, no, they ain't no one on site who were named Brittany. I'm like, yes, there is. At least a year ago there was. And she just kind of was unhelpful and rude, you know? Like, and she's like, well, probably what you've been sent is a bunch of fraudulent stuff. Hang on just a moment. Sorry, all. Nature gave me a bit of a ring there. So she's like, I think what you got was a bunch of fraudulent stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I seriously doubt that. I recognize all these email addresses. So I gave her every email address for everything that had been sent to me regarding this interview. And she's like, well, yeah, that's ours. I'm like, exactly, it's yours. What you guys did is you can't fill this position because it's terrible. You don't want to pay anything for it, and it's not close for anyone. So what you're trying to do is get people in the door. And she's like, no, we don't do that. I'm like, you guys are notorious for doing that. Okay, again, like if this had been clear that if I got this confirmation back and it said this was for CDTI or Amazon or anything 45 minutes away from my house, I would have canceled the interview. I wouldn't have come out here. I've made it clear that is too far to travel for that little amount of money. It's going to turn into like a $10 an hour job real quick, you know. And I was like, if there's a position open with JP Morgan, that's what I want. And right, this says this is what I should be interviewing for. I can actually go by the Irving location on my way back home since I'm way the crap out here. And she got on chat with the reps there, and they insisted that I wasn't eligible for rehire. And I was like, the on-site Brittany, said that I was eligible for rehire, and she's like, they ain't no on-site Brittany. I'm like, there is an on-site Brittany. I just can't bring up her emails right now because you won't let me on the fucking Wi-Fi. So, basically, I wasted a huge amount of fuel and time going to deal with this person yesterday. And it didn't get as heated as I'm making it sound, but I mean, when I left this thing, I was like, you do understand that I would not have, bothered you or come out here and wasted both of our times if the information I was sent involving this thing was more accurate. And her answer to this was, well, mistakes happen, and that's life. And I was like, this is a pretty big mistake. And she's like, oh well, deal with it. I was like, thank you, and I left that place. Literally, and just to be clear, it never turned into an interview. And this person's idea of an interview was, can you read and write English? You know, they're literally just trying to get these warehouses. They're behind at these places. They're just trying to get bodies in these places to work. You know, and again, Alliance there's not really much going on in the Alliance area. I don't feel as far as like people living there. Okay, there's an airport out there. Texas Motor Speedway is out there. Um, and it used to be just those things out there. Like, I remember when I moved up here, like, what? It's 13 years ago. This fall. It'll be 13 years ago. There was literally nothing out in Alliance. It was just that airport and and Texas Motor Speedway and some warehouses and the occasional gas station. You know. Now the area has grown up kind of a lot, but I mean, there's some hotels out there now. I mean, there's quite a bit out there, and there are people who live near Alliance, like nearer than me, and a lot of the population, and it might be convenient for those people to do. But you would literally be better off working at your local Walmart at $14.50 an hour than driving all the way out to Alliance for $16 an hour. Is really what it comes down to, and a lot of people just don't seem to do that math until it's too late, right? Until they're like deep in the job and like the commute's just like killing all their free time, and they're like burn out because they have to come home and like eat dinner, have a shower, and go right to sleep. The Aloe Yoga job was literally 12-hour shifts. So it was like 12 hours 3 days 1 week and 12 hours 4 days 1 week. So you had that 3 on 4 on rotating schedule. And even on the 3-day schedule, by late into the second day, I was starting to question if I had gone home from the first day. And by the third day, I couldn't keep clear whether I had gone home or not. With the commute and getting ready, it turned a 12-hour day into a 13-and-a-half-hour day or more really quickly. I don't have toll tags, so I get stuck in traffic quite often. I mean, sometimes the trip home took an hour because it was morning. Or sometimes the trip there took an hour. There were some other jobs that I worked night shift at and would have to go home morning rush hour, like the J.P. Morgan job out in Louisville. Getting there was pretty straightforward. Often traffic wasn't too bad. It was late at night, but getting home was like morning rush hour. It'd sometimes take an hour to get home. But since it was a short shift, it was less noticeable as taking some of my day. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that interview yesterday was just a complete sham one and a complete wash, and fairly disrespectful. Like I said, I'm considering moving to a different staffing agency. Anyway, goemonronin and Joe signing out.